I've just built an AI call center with no code, and in this video, I am going to show you how it works and how to build one out that can handle just about any function you could think of, whether that is handling every aspect of customer support departments, like identifying issues, managing subscriptions, refunds, or even creating tickets. This can also handle your sales process, being able to qualify leads and guiding customers to set up an appointment or even buy a product. On top of that, it can also handle outreach for you, capable of calling a list of leads that you actually upload, or you can use it to just instantly engage with leads as they are coming into your funnel and calling them, whether that is from you running ads or your website, a lead magnet where they're coming from, and wherever else. There is zero limit to what this can do for you or your clients, and it's literally capable of saving hundreds of thousands of dollars every single year and even driving a substantial increase in monthly revenue. Now, we have built and we have sold solutions just like this to dozens of clients, anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 with a monthly subscription on top of it. And to be completely honest, the system pays for itself. But with that being said, I don't want to waste any of you guys' time, so let me just show you a quick demonstration of the system. Now, some quick context. The demonstration I'm going to be showing you guys is just one piece of the larger part of the puzzle, which is going to be this customer service agent, which is a part of this inbound calling. So we have two different functionalities, the inbound call and the outbound call. So the inbound is obviously receiving calls from people. The outbound is going to, the system is going to reach out to people and call these people. So if you have a list of leads that you want to call, or maybe you have people from Facebook ads that you want to reach out to and they don't book an appointment, you can call them this way. But of course, this customer service agent, as I mentioned, is going to be from this inbound functionality on top of the sales agent. So within the demo, what this is going to be doing is once it receives a call, it is first going to identify the issue, as it's a customer service agent, as you can see. It's then going to perform any necessary actions like canceling services, retrieving order status and information, answering questions, and more. So if you needed to manage subscriptions, if you needed to do an array of different things, it doesn't have to be limited to just e-commerce tasks. There's so many things that this can actually be capable of, not just these few things that I've included here. On top of that, you can create tickets and you can forward these calls to live support and elevate them even further if that's even necessary for you. So what we're going to do is we're going to come into Vapi, and for sake of the demo, we're just going to talk through here instead of actually calling a number because it's easier to show you guys this way. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click Talk to Assistant and see how everything works.
Hi there, this is Ellie from Sales Zone Customer Support. How can I help you today?
Hey, Ellie, I need you to check on an order for me. So can you grab the order status and also the total order cost for me?
Of course. Could you please provide your order number so I can look up the details for you?
Yes, the order number is 416.
This will just take a sec. Here's the order status you asked for. Received, and the total cost is $21,825. Is there anything else I can assist you with today?
Yeah, I was having another issue, and this is just from the website. I couldn't load it, and I figured it would probably take, you might have to elevate this issue. Can you create a ticket or something?
Give me a moment. I've added this issue into our system, and our team will work on resolving it immediately. Is there anything else you'd like help with?
No, I think that should be it for the time being. So do you have an update on when that ticket would be finished and when this will be resolved?
I understand you're eager for an update. Unfortunately, I don't have a specific timeline right now, but our team is working on it. You'll hear from us once it's resolved.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that is everything I need for now.
Thank you for contacting Sales Zone AI Support. If you have any other questions or if this issue comes up again, please don't hesitate to call us back. Have a great day.
Okay, awesome. So just what I was showing off there was just being able to perform a range of different functions, not every single one. So we could have asked it different questions about the services and FAQs, which we have just a knowledge base uploaded into our agent for. But I just wanted to showcase some of the quick functionalities to you guys. With that being said, that was just one small piece of the larger puzzle. And of course, we have the sales agent and then these other functions down here, which is going to comprise of this entire AI call center. So as I mentioned to you guys earlier, I'm going to be showing you how everything works and how you can be building this out step by step. Really quick, before we get into the build, I just wanted to mention that if you are a business owner looking to implement solutions just like this for your own business, then check out the link down below. You'll get to our website where you can schedule in a call with my team and I. And if you're interested in getting access to this build and all the different n8n templates and blueprints, and of course, getting a more hands-on approach to learning AI and automation, whether that's for building systems yourself, to sell to businesses, or just to implement all these different things into your own business, then check out my community. Links are also down below where you can join our community of thousands of AI enthusiasts and get access to other resources that you might have seen on my channel here. Link, of course, is down below for that as well. Okay, now getting into the actual build out within all of this, I'm going to be starting with the customer service agent, but I do want to preface the few different systems you're going to be using for this is n8n, of course, as the backend to hook everything up, building out the agents and everything. We're also going to be using Vapi to handle all of the calls. It's going to be your telephony system essentially, where it's going to be handling inbound calls and doing the outbound calling for you. You will need Twilio to set up a number, or you can use different things like Telnix if you would like. So this is going to be able to allow you to purchase numbers or use your own number. We will use Airtable as our database, but feel free to use your own softwares if you have different ticketing systems or different databases. You can use like Google Sheets, whichever. So you can play around with different ones here. And we're also going to be using Google Sheets as well. And that's really the tech stack we're going to be using to get this build across the finish line. Without further ado, let's start off with the customer support as we already showed off the demo, and then we'll move into the sales agent and then the lead reactivation and instant engagement. So within this customer service agent, we have to first define what we need to happen. Okay, well, we have a department where people are constantly calling in, needing their FAQs answered, and they need to take all these different actions. So let's say hypothetically, we have a human sales department that we're employing, and they're constantly having to answer simple questions, canceling services, retrieving order statuses and information, creating tickets, and forwarding calls to different departments. So if this is the case, well, AI can definitely handle that, and that's what we're going to be showcasing. So just define what necessary actions you want this to take. For us, it's going to be able to retrieve order statuses and information, answer questions, creating tickets, and forwarding calls. That's going to bring us within Vapi. Now within Vapi, this is obviously, as I mentioned, going to be our telephony system. You can use retail if you would like. You can use, another one is SynthFlow. There's a lot of different options out there. Vapi is just what my team and I use ourselves. So there's a few different components within building out a voice agent within Vapi. Of course, it's going to be with anything when you're using AI. It's going to be the system prompt and also the functions, or as they call it within Vapi, the tooling. So what I have done is I just created a folder within Vapi calling this the AI call center. So we have the customer support agent, we have the sales agent, and we have instant engagement. We're going to be focusing on the customer support agent, as I mentioned, and that's going to lead us within here where we have the first message. So what we are saying, this is going to be the first message, obviously, as you can see, where we want to talk to the user. So what we said is, hi there, this is Ellie from Sales Done Customer Support. How can I help you today? Below that, you guys can see is the system prompt, which we are providing it with a pretty particular structure. And below this is the files. The files that we upload, this is just going to be the knowledge base. If we want this agent to be able to answer any questions, it's going to be from this file section right here. So for example, what we've done is we just created this document right here, which just gives us some information on our services and everything. So it's just kind of some dummy data to include within here. And we just uploaded it into this files. Now, as I mentioned, the other important piece is the tooling. So within the tooling, we have two different functionalities. We have order information and we have ticket creation. Order information, this is a functionality that's going to be called when the user wants to request any order information. So as you guys saw from this Airtable right here, when I was on the phone call from earlier on in the demo, assuming you guys listened to it and didn't skip ahead, you would have heard me asking for the order status and also the total order cost. We also could have asked for who to bill this to and the order line items, but I just wanted to keep it simple and pretty direct. And what we have done is just provide it with the order number to find our exact order and make sure we're grabbing the correct information. So it came up with something like 21,825 on the call, and also the order status, which was received if you were to rewind it back. So that's just one of the functionalities. And what we use for that functionality is n8n. So as I showed you, we have an agent that is already created. And what this is doing is it's basically using a webhook being called from Vapi. So every time, let's say we're on the phone, we're saying, hey, I need you to check my order for me. It's going to say, give me a second. Of course, after you provide it with the order number, it's going to call this webhook this webhook is going to take the information from Vapi, providing it into this AI agent, and then collecting that information from Airtable, and then providing that response back to our webhook, really just communicating back to Vapi and saying, hey, here's your information, now just respond to them. Okay, beyond that, let's go back into Vapi. We also have the ticket creation, as I mentioned. Now the ticket creation, similarly to the retrieving order, it's going to be just creating a ticket within Google Sheets. So as you can see within the sheet, we can see the most recent ID is customer couldn't load the website, needs technical assistance. And it can get way more robust and intricate than this. I'm just including 2 different fields. So usually if you're using a different software, like a ticketing software, I believe one is called Zendesk, and there's a plethora of different systems out there. But in any case, we are using n8n. Similarly, just grabbing that information from Vapi, it's taking the ticket information. If we open this up, we can see customer couldn't load the website. That is what I was saying on the demo. And we're just dragging that into the AI agent, and then it's going to create that ticket within Google Sheets. And of course, respond to the webhook, just saying something like done. If it were to say failed, then the agent would have communicated to me on the call saying, hey, we had issues with that, please try again, or however you define the error handling. So that is really what is going on within the system. Now, let me show you guys how you can actually start to build this out. So if you guys haven't already, make sure you sign up for a free account on Vapi. Of course, you can use retail if you would like, but this tutorial is going to be centered around Vapi. Now, set up your free account and just go ahead and create an assistant. You can call this whatever you would like, but just make sure you're using a blank template. All these other ones are just kind of quick start templates that you can copy. I think it would just complicate things a little bit more. So I recommend creating a blank template. Once you're within here, you're going to be choosing your provider. Use whatever LLM you prefer, but I think OpenAI is the best because they have some of the cheapest and the fastest models. I'm just using the 4.1 nano. And within the first message, as I already showed you, we're just saying this is Ellie from sales and customer support. Now let's break down the prompt a little bit. Up at the top, what we're going to say is the identity and the purpose. From there, we're going to break down the voice and the persona, its demeanor, how it should be responding. Then we have the speech characteristics, the conversation flow, issue identification. So if things were to go wrong, how to actually handle that. And then we have the closings, response guidelines, how you should be calling the tools, and all that good stuff. So it is a relatively longer prompt, but if you guys are having issues and you're just struggling with creating your own prompt, then check out my community. I have a GPT in there which you guys can use, which will really just help you and guide you to building your own voice prompt and employ the best strategies. But of course, I'll be showing you guys what I've done for my own prompts. So right off the bat, I'm just identifying the purpose. So with any LLM model, you just want to provide it like, okay, well, here's what your job is. Here's what I need you to do for me. So we say you're Ellie, a customer service voice assistant for sales and AI. I just defined how it can actually be pronounced. Sometimes you'll have to be, pretty specific with your agents and how you're actually prompting it. So I had to say sales done, just having it pronunciated a little bit better because sometimes it would say it would just say my name a little wonky, which, I had a fix for. Then I say your primary purpose is to help customers resolve issues with their products, answer questions about services, and ensure a satisfying support experience. Always check the knowledge base you are given access to before answering the questions. Now remember, the knowledge base is what I've created here. I uploaded as a file, which I'll show you guys how you can upload in just a second. It's actually very simple. We then say if the customer asks about their order, like status, billing, address, shipping, you must ask them for their order number first, then use the order information tool to retrieve and share the details. Then provide them with the details you retrieved, such as here's the status of your order you asked for. This is where you're inserting the status. And here is the total order cost. And then you insert the order cost. If an issue cannot be resolved using the knowledge base or available tools, you must say, what I'll do is add this into our system right now, and we will work on resolving this immediately. Then use the ticket creation tool to log the issue. Everything else, it's pretty bland. So for the voice and persona, we say sound friendly, patient, and knowledgeable without being condescending. Actually, some of this is templatized from this quick start template right here. But if we move on beyond the voice and persona, we have the speech characteristics. So I like to say different things like include I am, well, don't, and all that stuff. I say to vary your sentence length and complexity sound natural. Below this, we have the conversation flow. So just starting with the intro message, like, hi there, this is Ellie from Sales On, how can I help you? And if they sound frustrated, I need you to combat and really try to, calm them down a little bit. That's something that these AI agents do exceptionally well, is mirroring behaviors. Not necessarily mirroring behaviors. If somebody's pissed, you don't want the agent to be pissed, but recognizing their sentiment and being able to respond accordingly. So if it recognizes they're pissed, it's going to say, I completely understand your concerns, stuff like that. For issue identifications, we say it's to use open-ended questions, like, could you tell me a bit about what's happening with your product or service? So the rest, it's all going to come down to, what exactly you're trying to do. And the best advice I could possibly give is to be as specific as possible as to what you need to happen. So then we have the closings, like, thank you for calling Sales Done AI. We have, for frustrated customers, how to actually respond, and then the limitations. So if we scroll down, we can see the tool usage. I say to use the order information tool to grab order details and to use the ticket creation tool to create tickets. So let's get into that a little bit. Let's scroll down and we have the tools right here. So we have order information, ticket creation. So to actually select something, we have to create something, as you can imagine. So we're going to go to our tools section and let's break this down a little bit further. So we have ticket creation and order information. So let's start with order information. All you're going to do is you're going to create a new tool and you can just use the function. Within here, call it whatever you would like, whatever is going to be most relevant for you. In the description, just describe it a little bit. You could say, use this tool to retrieve information about an order. So for us, we have these pieces of information that the customer is going to have. So like the order number, maybe the order name. So let's just use that as our example right here. But what they need is to grab the received, or the status, I should say. And they also need to grab the total order cost. So in this example, we just want to be able to pull from Airtable based off of an order number. And how we're going to be doing that, if you remember, is we're going to be using n8n. So as I mentioned, use this tool to retrieve information about an order. The only other things, you have to add a webhook and different parameters. So the parameters, this is going to be the different messages you're going to be sending to n8n. So, all right, well, if we want to retrieve things from Airtable, what are some things we probably need? Well, we're going to need the order number to identify, or just some sort of ID to identify what it is they're looking for exactly. Within here, we don't have an exact order ID. We have an order number, which is essentially the same thing. If you would like, you can use different IDs as your identifier, but this is what we're going to be using for our example. So the order number and the information requested are going to be different things that we need. So the information requested, if we say we need the status in order line items, well, that information is going to be transmitted into n8n. Say the customer needs the status and they need the line items. And then it's going to communicate that to the agent. And then the agent is going to Airtable and grab all that stuff based off of the order number that they provided, which I'll show you guys, of course, in a second. Besides that, we're going to be using the webhook. Of course, we'll have to create the n8n workflow first. Now let's do that. So we could see this is a pretty basic structure. If you've watched any of my videos in the past, this is a pretty common flow right here. Tools agent with a webhook, or it can be whatever other input, and then the tool down here. So this webhook, how you actually get that is you just search up webhook, and the one thing you will have to change in here, of course, is the HTTP method. If you're going to be, grabbing things from Vapi, you have to use the post method. You also have to change this respond to using respond to webhook node. Why we have to use this is because we have to send our response back to Vapi, and that's going to require us to respond to the webhook. If you use anything else, like if you use when last node finishes or immediately, it's not going to let you run this. All right, so go ahead and set up that webhook. Now, what we want to do is grab this production URL endpoint. So once you have your HTTP method set up, you have your respond function all set up there. We just grab this endpoint right here, copy this, and just drag it into Vapi. So you can just put this right here, and you could test it if you would like with the parameters and everything. But for adding these parameters and these properties, it's pretty simple. All I do is just input the name. I don't do anything else. I make sure that the string is the specific type, and that's really it. And then you'll get something that looks like this. So that's going to bring us to our next step, which is going to be actually creating the AI agent. So if we open this agent within this execution we ran for the demo, we can see one of the outputs was here's the order status received, and then here's the total cost. What this actually did, if we actually go back and go to the logs, we can see it's communicating to Airtable, which is just another tool that we connected. So we have the search record tool within Airtable that we are using. Let's expand this just a little bit further. All right, now within Airtable, we can see the operation. We're just searching. We want to be able to find a particular record. So what we're searching through is our order number. So we ask on the call, the agent is asking, what is your order number? From here, we'll be able to identify the rest of the information based off of this order number we're providing. So like this ID of yours. So we just hook up our base that we want to use and the table we want to use, which we already have configured. I'm not going to take the time to show you guys how you could set this up yourself. It's pretty simple. It's just like creating a Google Sheets. Now, filter by the formula, we're just including our category here. So our category that we want to search by is the order number. We can see if we scroll over right here, it's just described as order number. That's how it's named. And then we insert whatever the order number is that's being communicated from Vapi. So these are the different things. If we close this, we have the webhook. If we scroll down just a little bit, here's what Vapi is sending to us. It's sending us the order number and also the information requested. So the order number is 416. So we just insert that literally right here. That's all we're doing. And that's everything that's going on within Airtable. For Google Sheets, it'll be a little bit different where you just want to search through the rows and everything. It's just a little bit different setup than Airtable. Now, of course, within this agent, we're providing it with the order number and information from Airtable requested. So the order number, we're just giving it to right here once again. Let's open this up a little bit further. So we grab the order number and drag this right here. And then we drag the information requested as well. So sometimes there's going to be several different things that they provide. So let's say on the call, we ask for status, line items, order cost, and who to bill this to. Well, in that case, there's going to be 4 different items that are going to be coming up. Each one just listed individually. And that's why there's several different ones right here. There's better ways to actually structure it. You can aggregate everything together and it'll just put it all within there. You don't have to upload all these different things separately. But for sake of the demo, we have just uploaded everything separately, like dragging in the information or the status and the total cost. So everything was actually combined right here. Sometimes it doesn't structure that properly. So it does take a little bit of testing with that. Now, the last thing is responding to the webhook. And we are responding with JSON. There's different ways of being able to respond with, but I've found that JSON is the only one that works for me when I'm trying to communicate with Vapi and actually pass this information from n8n to Vapi so that the agent is going to communicate our answer. So how I actually did this is I just include the webhook ID from Vapi. And how I got that is if I just scroll down within this webhook, it's not the headers. It's going to actually, I think it was the headers, maybe under body. Let's see here, or variables and context, whichever one it was. Let's see, it was the webhook. So let's go and open up the body. From the body, I believe it was this right here. So call underscore GPA. What we've done is we just drag over under body, we grab this tool calls and we drag this over here. This is essentially, the Vapi ID or the ID from the webhook that we need. So we're saying, hey, here's the ID that you need to communicate back to within Vapi. So if that sounds too confusing, then don't really worry about it too much. It's just an ID you have to drag and drop. Within the result, this is just going to be the result from the AI agent, which is, in this example, order status is received. Total order cost is $21,825. So when the agent is talking and I'm asking that question, it's going to say, okay, well, here's the order status, it's received, and here's the total order cost. And we just drag that into this result right here. We structured it a little bit differently, so feel free to mimic a similar structure, but this is exactly how we are framing it within our response to webhook. So feel free to pause it and copy what I am using. And that is really all we're doing for the tools within here. So that's the first part of just retrieving order status and information. For the second part, if we go to ticket creation, this one's a little bit simpler. We just need the ticket description. So the ticket description is going to be, okay, what's the actual issue? What do we want to put in here so that our team, when they are actually trying to fix this issue, they know what is going on and are up to speed on everything. So for us, we just provide it with the issue that the user is describing. And within Vapi, that's just going to be the ticket description. Of course, we need a webhook again. So let's go into our second workflow and let's actually go to the latest execution. Okay, so once again, set up your webhook, set it up to post as the HTTP method, use the production URL, of course, use the respond using respond to webhook node as this option right here. Grab your endpoint and throw that within Vapi once again. You'll want to add your parameter. So just think of the things that you're going to need. Do you need ID? Well, consider does our user who is answering any questions, are they going to be able to have access to that ID? Things like this. Or maybe email is another thing that you can use to send them off emails or text messages. So just consider what you want to actually collect. For us, it's just going to be ticket description. Okay, so we set up that webhook. Within this AI agent, it's going to be a similar structure to the retrieve order and information. So within here, we say your job is to analyze the input ticket description. here's the ticket description. Now for the ticket ID, you must generate a random 15-character ID that starts with 3 letters and the rest is in numbers. If you succeed, then you must output done. That's it. What that gets us is something like this, just a unique identifier, QED 34 and so on. And let me actually show you guys the ticket description. We're just dragging from here. So Vapi is passing to us this ticket description right here. Customer couldn't load the website, needs technical assistance. We drag that and drop that within here. And we actually connect that to Google Sheets. Within here, we're just going to append a row. For the values to send, we're going to be sending the ticket ID and the description. And we just let AI model actually define everything to insert here. So it's pretty simple. We just click this little magic button, as I call it, and it's going to insert everything needed for us. So feel free to rewind this, pause this, if that seems a little bit confusing to you. Shouldn't be too much. But lastly, of course, we're just going to use the respond to webhook, and we're going to respond with the first incoming item. We don't have to respond with JSON or anything because we don't really need to communicate all the different things that are going on, like, hey, like we just uploaded this and all that stuff. So we're trying to keep it relatively simple for our end and minimize the effort. Okay, now that's everything within the tool calling for at least the customer support agent. So let's go back within the agent and review if there's anything else. So we're of course using OpenAI, using the GPT 4.1 Nano. You can configure your own voice. We're using 11 Labs for our own voice. I would recommend using 11 Labs. I have a discount code you can use for some free tokens. I believe you get up to 100,000 free tokens if you use my code or my link, which I'll have down below in the description. And we are using the Heather Ray voice. Now, what I like about 11 Labs is you can configure your voices pretty much to your own standards. So you could change the stability, the clarity and speed, the style exaggeration, and so much more. You could include different voicemails and if you want to forward the calls. So if you do want someone to be able to opt to talk to a real person. So let's say they're pissed off and they don't want to talk to a robot because sometimes that can infuriate them even more and just completely lose them as a customer and just destroy your LTV. So if we go to, let's see which one, I believe it might be custom functions. Might have to open up all these. Okay, so the predefined functions, you can forward this to a different phone number. So if you want, you can include a dial keypad and say, hey, if you want to talk to a real person, just press 1 on your keypad and it'll forward it to whatever number you choose. So I'm going to enter a random number. Let's just say like 101,000. So you can have it forwarded to this number if you would like, or you could just define within your prompt. Like we could say within here, if the user asks to talk to a real person, then forward the call to the number you have hooked up, which is, and then you could insert the number. And that's just going to let the agent know, hey, forward the number if the person is pissed off. So you can define it a little bit more strategically than I am doing right here. Now, if you want to actually hook up your own number, what we use is Twilio. So let's just make sure we're logged into our account right here. Okay, so within Twilio, now the point of this is either buying a number or just using a number you guys already employ. So if you have a receptionist who's using a number that you want to use for your AI agent, you can use that as well. But we're going to be focusing on just buying a number. So of course, just go into Twilio, sign up for an account. You go to manage and go to buy a number, and you could purchase whichever number you would prefer. So if you want a number from Minnesota, Florida, Michigan, wherever. From there, you would just need to grab your account SID and grab your auth token. So just use that. And if you copy those pieces of information and go into your external provider keys within Vapi, you can find, or actually, I'm sorry, we would have to go to phone numbers. And within here, we can create a new phone number. You can go to import Twilio and input all of your information. Now, Twilio is just one of the most common. You could also use Telnix, which is cheaper than Twilio, or you can, input your own Vapi number or use Vonage or just SIP. So what SIP trunking is, again, if you want to use a number you guys already employ, that's where you would use something like this. Okay, so once you get your phone number in there, that's really the last step for setting up that customer support agent. There's really not much more. There's a lot of different functionalities that you can input within Vapi. So I'll allow you to explore that for yourself, like being able to input voicemails. So if you want to say, somebody doesn't answer the phone, you could input voicemails. So if, for inbound, it wouldn't really matter because the AI is always going to answer their phone, so there's not going to be any voicemails. But that's essentially it for this customer support agent. So let's kind of cross that off of our list right here. And let's go to the sales agent up here. Now, what we want our sales agent to do is answer questions and FAQs, qualify the lead. Now, if they are qualified, I want you to set up an appointment or just sell a product and even transfer the call if necessary. Or if they're unqualified, then do not schedule the call. This is where you can recommend a lower tier offer or service. So what I'm going to do now is show you guys a demo of what I have already set up for the sales agent. And similarly to the customer service, I will show you how you can be building this for yourself and what I actually have set up. Again, if you guys want the templates to all these different systems, then join my community. Link is down below in the description. So let's go within Vapi and let's try talking to the sales agent now.
Sales Done AI, this is Ellie. How can I help you today?
Hey, I was curious what you guys actually do, and I would like to see maybe scheduling a demo, but I just want to get some information on you guys first.
Gotcha. So Sales Done AI helps businesses automate their sales processes using AI. We handle lead engagement, qualification, and appointment booking across different channels: phone, chat, email, and SMS. Think of it as your most reliable, always-on sales rep. Anything specific you'd like to know?
Yeah, what can you tell me about the industries you work with?
Gotcha. We work with various industries, primarily focusing on SaaS, real estate, B2B services, and e-commerce. If you're in any of these spaces, you'd likely benefit from our solutions. Where's your business operating?
I'll answer that in a little bit, but how long does the setup usually take if I were to have this built out?
Hold on just a sec. Okay, based on our experience, setup usually takes between 30 and 45 days. It depends a bit on how complex your workflows are.
Okay,
Cool.
Is it possible to set up a demo?
Definitely. Before we schedule that, how many leads would you say you guys are handling every month?
Yeah, we handle about 300 leads.
Great to hear. What's your name?
My name is Nick.
Just to confirm, that's Nick, spelled N-I-C-K, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Perfect. What time and day work best for you to schedule the demo?
Yeah, could we do maybe Sunday, May 25th, maybe sometime in the morning?
Hold on just a sec while I check availability for Sunday, May 25th in the morning. Just a sec. I've got 9 a.m. available on Sunday, May 25th. Would you like to go with that time?
Yeah, let's do it.
Great. Can I get your email to confirm the booking? I'll spell it out for you to double check.
Yeah, my email is nick@reprises.ai.com.
Got it. That's Nick at repraisesai.com. Just want to confirm that's all correct?
Yeah, could you actually spell that back to me?
Sure thing. Nick at reprises.com. Does that look correct?
Yeah, that's perfect.
One moment. Awesome. You're all set for the demo on May 25th at 9 a.m. You'll get a confirmation email soon. If you've got more questions, just give me a shout.
Okay, amazing. Thank you.
You're welcome, Nick. Have a great day.
Bye. Okay, so as you guys saw, if we come into the map, it did everything that we were really looking for. So it was answering questions, it was qualifying the lead, and if they were qualified, it's going to book that appointment, or in different instances, it could sell a product, or it could even transfer a call if necessary. So if you want to set up a call with somebody right away, and it's a little bit more urgent to sell them right then and there, then you could do so. But what we've done with our structure, we set up the call for a later date. Now, if they were unqualified, we could send them to a different offer or another service that you guys may offer. But ultimately, we're just not going to schedule the call because they are not qualified. Of course, as you saw, we were qualified. We had over 50 leads per month. So that's who we are looking to work with. So let me show you guys how you can actually set this up. We're going to be using something similar. So just using n8n. We're also going to be using Vapi as well once again. Okay, so first things first, let's come into Vapi. And similarly, we're going to set up another assistant. This one is going to be the sales agent this time. So the sales agent, we have a few different components similarly to the customer support. We have the prompt, we have the file, which is just going to be our knowledge base of being able to answer different questions and pieces of information that it has access to. We also have the tools. So the tools is probably one of the harder parts, but of course, I'll walk you guys through it, how to set this one up. So we have the booking time and the getting availability. So the booking time, setting up that calendar appointment, getting availability. It's just going to find time in the user's calendar and try to find something to set up for both parties. All right, now let's start off with the system prompt. Once again, we're going to be starting off with the identity. I cleaned things up a little bit just to make things easier for you guys. But once again, we say you're Ellie, a sales caller for Sales Done, an AI development company. And here's how it's pronounced once again. For the style, doing the same exact thing. Use phrases like gotcha and well to create a relaxed environment. Keep your responses short and simple. We then have the response guidelines, tasks, and goals. Tasks and goals are going to be, the heavy lifting of this part. So first off, we say aim to answer any question posed by the user, providing clear and informative responses. You should use the sales done services and FAQs file or knowledge base you are provided to answer their questions, which once again is this document right here. Let's move on to number 2. We say highlight the benefits of booking a demo call with Nick, like analyzing core business problems and identifying opportunities for implementing sales solutions into their operations. Now, only present this information if they ask why it's beneficial or anything to book a call or anything along those lines, or if they have doubts. 3, if the user wants to book a call, you must determine if they are qualified or not. So that's we're stepping into this part right here where we just say like if they're qualified, if they're unqualified, then take these different actions. So 3.1, to determine if they're qualified, you must ask them how many leads they're currently generating per month. So this is where it's going to differ. So if you want to determine if they're qualified based off of, their monthly revenue or the amount of employees that they have. So we say, before we schedule that, how many leads would you say you guys are handling per month? If they're handling less than 50 per month, then they are not qualified. And in that case, you should say, unfortunately, we're only working with companies generating a minimum of 50 leads per month. And at this time, not offering any solutions to generate leads, but it's within our plans in the near future. So if we just said like, I have 20 leads per month, then it would have responded with this. Now, if they're handling over 50 leads per month, then say something like, great to hear, whatever. And then once this is actually confirmed and they are qualified, just confirm their name as well as the time and day that they would like to book a meeting. Confirm the user's name with them. If the user indicates the name is incorrect, ask for the name again and spell it out slowly to reconfirm with the user. It's very important you spell out the name slowly, otherwise they won't be able to understand you. So this is the piece where I said earlier, just be as specific as possible. Describe everything that you want to happen and everything that, how you want it to happen. So number 4, run the get availability function or tool with the provided details to get the open slots for the requested date for the appointment. Using the output of the availability function, respond to the user accordingly. Number 5, ask the user for the email if they want to proceed with the given time, then spell out their email address slowly to double confirm. Now here's how to spell this out. We just say the possible email format to spell out is name@company.com and @ is pronounced by @. Run the booking time function to book the time using the output of the availability function and then respond to the user with the output of the booking time function. And then we provide it with the error handling and feedback and some additional notes like the current year is 2025. When you use the tools, you are to tell the user to hold on a sec. If at any point the user wants to talk to a real person, then you must forward them. Next thing, if you want to upload a knowledge base, just go into this file section right here and you can add a new file. You can upload whatever you would like. So we have our sales done services and FAQs PDF right here, which is again, just from this Google Docs that we have created. So we threw that in there. Now we have the tools. The tools, booking time, and getting availability. So let me show you guys what those look like. So let's start with the getting availability. Okay, if we come into n8n, we have our get availability function right here, or system. So let's break this down a little bit further. Okay, so once again, we have our webhook. So do the same thing that I showed you earlier. You're going to be creating that webhook, go to production URL, HTTP method is post, change the respond to using respond to webhook node. And that'll get you something like this, which is where you'll grab the production URL and drag that within Vapi once again. Now let's think here. What are some of the different parameters we might need to grab the availability of a calendar? Well, once we actually hook up the tools of the Google Calendar, we're going to need different things like the start time, the end time, and also the dates. So that's what we have listed out within here. We need the date and we need the time. So what I said on the call is check Sunday, May 25th in the morning. So we add those properties within here. We just add date. So just type out date and do the same thing for time. Make sure to apply that and then save everything. So it's actually super simple once you get the hang of it. Now within here, you're going to get something like this. If you open this up, you can see I asked for May 25th, 2025 in the morning. So it took that as 9 a.m. It checked if that availability was good. And it is going within this AI agent and then passing that to Google Calendar, getting my availability and seeing if it's open. So it does say true. So that means we're good, which is where it responds with the requested time is available. Would you like to proceed with booking? And then that's where the AI agent, the phone system is saying all that stuff like, would you like to proceed? So what we're doing within this prompt right here is we're just providing the current date and time. So you could just do it as simple as just entering now, and then it'll give you the current date and the time. Now here is where I say, here's the calendar availability data. Here's the requested date and here's the requested time. Similar to before, we're literally just dragging the responses we're getting from Vapi. So the date, drag in here, and then the time we drag over here. Here's the working hours. We just provide some specific information like when to search and everything like that. And if there's no slots available on that date, find the next available weekday and provide alternative slots to the user. Feel free to pause it and copy what I was using there. Now we have two different functions or two different tools that we're using here. The first one is grabbing all the different events that I have. The second one is grabbing my availability. So the time zone we set as Eastern time zone. And then we let the AI model define the start time and the end time. Once again, if you want to do that yourself, you could just press this little magic button and you'll get something like this, which is exactly what we're looking for. We're also setting up the getting of events. So just return all events after a particular date. I'm just letting the AI model define this and it's going to handle everything for me. We could even remove the think tool. It's not completely necessary. And then last but not least, we have the respond to webhook node. So this is where we're going to define the results. So we just, once again, we're going to drag the tool call ID, which you can get from, if you scroll down to the webhook, go to your body and grab the ID right here, drag it right in there. And then the result, we're just doing the JSON output and then inputting this little expression right here. So once again, feel free to pause this, or you can get the template from my community as well if you just want to use all this for yourself and get this up and running as quick as possible. Okay, so once we have that good to go, the only other thing is going to be booking the appointment. So we have the booking time. Now this time, what we need to book an appointment is full name, user email, booking date, and the booking time. Once again, we need a new webhook. So we have a different workflow. We have a different webhook, different AI agent. So within this agent, what we say is to book the user specified using the calendar tool in the provided. So the provided, we're just dragging the booking date that they requested. So we say like Nick is the name. The email is nick@reprisesai.com. Let's see if we can open this up a little bit further. Booking date we have right here. And then the booking time, we're also dropping that in. Once again, we're using a tool to just create the event. So we're letting the AI model define the start time, end time, and then we add attendees. So if you go to add fields, you'll find add attendees right here and also the summary. So for the attendees, that's where we're just dragging the email that we get from the webhook, or you could also use this little magic button right here. Now for the summary, we're just using the user's name that they provided. So like Nick was the variable right here, and we say and sales done demo call. And then that's just gonna come up like Nick and sales done demo call on our calendars. And then of course, we're just providing the response to the webhook once again, doing the same exact thing that I showed you earlier. Now that is pretty much everything that's going on within this different agent. So we're providing with the webhook with all these different parameters within our assistant. We just define that. So if we go to our sales agent, we just say, I need you to call this function when you are trying to book an appointment, call this specific tool. And how you actually route that is if you just go to the tools, you could just select the tools that you created. So booking time and getting availability was the ones that we were using. And then go ahead and test it out for yourself. Make sure that it's actually working. But that's everything for this sales agent, which is going to cross off this inbound section. So now that this piece is finished, let's move on to the outbound, which, you may view it as being a little bit more difficult. But again, if you guys struggle, make sure to just rewind the videos and also check out my community where you can get the templates and ask for help from thousands of other members as well. But okay, so we have the lead reactivation, which is just where you're going to be uploading a lead list, or the instant engagement. So hypothetically, if you're running Facebook ads or you just receive a bunch of traffic to your website and people are giving out their information like their email, phone number, and you want to contact them, well, you could do so through here. So that's where this AI call center is going to come in handy. So we have this list of leads. As you can see, they're obviously fake. So please don't take down my video for any of those purposes. But, it's all just dummy data where we have fake phone numbers. But ideally, we want to take this list of leads who haven't been contacted yet. Generally, you'll probably have, a list of thousands of leads who have opted in at some point, but they've gone cold. So they have given consent, but they've just gone cold and you want to convert them into a customer. So what we're going to do is we're going to upload this lead list and have our AI system call them. We also want to set it up so that every time somebody fills out a form and gives out their information, but doesn't book a call, we want to reach out to them. We want to call them and try to get them to book that appointment as well. So if we scroll down here, these are both going to have similar functionalities. So the lead reactivation and the instant engagement. So let's say somebody opts into our funnel. They fill out a form like this. If we come into this screen, let's find the right page first. Okay, so within this form right here, they fill it out and they don't book an appointment. Well, that's where we're going to want to call them, as well as trying to get this list of leads to book an appointment. So within here, you can see we're going to immediately send out our first call attempt. So if we break this down a little bit further, the AI agent is going to call the lead within seconds or minutes if you would like. The goals of this call is to confirm the contact, qualify them. So do they have over 100 leads per month? Are they a good fit? Answer FAQs, nurture them if they're unsure. So just give reassurance, offer social proof, and then get them to book a demo call on our calendars. So that's going to be what we're trying to do here. So there's going to be 3 different options. Either they're not going to answer, either they will answer and they book a call, or they answer and they don't book a call. So let's start off with if they don't answer. Well, if they don't answer that phone call, we're going to leave a voicemail right away. From there, we're going to send follow-up message 1, which is just going to be text and an email. So we could say like, hey, this is Ellie from Sales Done. Saw you checked out our system and wanted to reach out to see if you had any questions or concerns. Okay, once we send that off, 1 day later, and of course, these pieces of logic don't have to follow the specific structure of 1 day later. It could be 3 days later. It could be 30 seconds later. 1 day later, we're going to call them again. If they don't answer, we send follow-up message 2, which is going to be another text and email. Same again, we're going to send 5 days later, just another call. Send that third follow-up text message. Now, 10 days later, we're not going to call them again, but we're just going to send follow-up text messages, emails, same with 21 days later, and just continue doing this until they either opt out or unsubscribe, or until they book that appointment, that end goal. What this does is we're just sending unlimited follow-ups and really capitalizing on the leads that we already have instead of getting more leads. This other option, if the lead answers and they book a call, well, if they're qualified and the demo is booked, we're going to just send, basically it's our goal is to reduce the no-shows from here on. So send confirmation text messages upon confirmation, day before the appointment, day of the appointment. And this in turn will reduce the no-shows. Lastly, if the lead answers and they do not book a call, we are going to set up an agent that determines the actions needed. Like, do we need to send additional information? Do we need to put them on a DNC list? Do we need to mark an CRM to call 30 days later? Things like this. We're also going to create a feedback agent which determines what went wrong. So it's going to say like, okay, well, they responded with X when they should have responded with Y, and that's why they didn't book a call. Something like that. So these are all the different options that are going to happen. Of course, it doesn't have to be a phone call. So if you don't want to build out a call center, you can build out a text center where it's just going to send out emails and text messages instead of calling them all the time. But with that being said, let's go ahead and start building this out. So we're going to be using Vapi and n8n once again. So with an n8n, we have a system that's going to look like this. And don't worry if it all looks pretty complicated. It's a little intricate, but if I break it down for you guys, you will have a pretty good rough understanding of everything and be able to build it out for yourself. So let's go within Vapi and I'll show you the agent that I have built out. Okay, this time within Vapi, it's going to be similar to the sales agent that we just set up. Actually, it's going to be very similar, but this time we're not handling inbound calls. We're going to be doing outbound calls, reaching out to a specific person once they actually fill out a form or if we have a list of leads. So if we go to our outreach that I was showing you, we have Google Sheets on form submission and also from this webhook. So this webhook is connected to this form right here. So let me fill this out. So we'll do Nick, we'll enter our phone number, enter in an email, and also just fill in something random right here. Okay, let's scroll down and we'll click yes and click, and we will consent to this. So we're gonna fill this out and I'll give you a demo of what's going to happen. Let's make sure that this is turned on, okay? But we should be getting a call in just a second, as you guys can see. So let's answer this.
Hey, is this Nick?
Yeah, this is.
Hi, user's name. This is Leo from Sales Done. I'm Nick's AI assistant and just saw you were checking out our client acquisition system. So I just wanted to reach out and see if you had any questions or were interested in possibly setting up a demo call.
Yeah, I would set up a call.
Great. So if you don't mind me asking, what does your business do exactly?
Yeah, we just build AI solutions for companies.
Got it. And about how many leads are you currently generating every month?
We generate about 10 leads.
Got it. Appreciate you sharing that. Right now, we're focused on helping businesses that are generating at least 100 leads a month. But I really appreciate you checking us out.
Okay, so yeah, would we be able to work out something in the future?
I totally understand. While our system is designed for businesses with higher lead volumes right now, things can always change. If your lead generation grows in the future, we'd be happy to revisit and see how we can help. In the meantime, if you have any questions or want to stay in the loop, feel free to reach out anytime.
Okay. All right. Thanks. Bye. Okay. So let's just check out what actually happened. So as you saw there, we were unqualified. So, what you would usually want to do is you can recommend a lower tier offer or service. I didn't recommend anything that time. I didn't instruct my agent to. But ultimately, we weren't qualified, so I don't want my system to book that appointment. So we're going to wait for this n8n workflow to finish. It'll take a while for it to actually analyze the transcript and see what was happening. So I will come back to you guys once that actually finishes up. Oh, well, actually, we could see that it broke down. So let's just analyze what actually happened here. Okay, so it looks like it was an issue with Supabase, which is, to be expected. And I believe that's just because I already have a user created. But we can see that the webhook was called. It's going to make a call to Vapi. Once that's happening, it's going to store the transcript and everything, all the transcript recordings. And then we can see that it's going to go down two routes. So the lead declined or did not answer, or they did answer. Now, within here, there's going to be another two options. Did they book a call or did they not book a call? So it recognized that we did not book a call. So it's going to go to this analyze actions needed. So the only actions that we have described was, do we need to add them to a do not call registry? It realized that we didn't have to because I didn't ask to be added to it. And then it's going to go to this feedback agent where it's going to analyze the transcript and determine why a meeting was not booked. So let's just see what actually happened within here. It said the meeting was not booked because the user's business does not meet the current qualification criteria of generating at least 100 leads per month, which the AI assistant mentioned is a focus for their client acquisition system. So we could see areas for improvement. The AI assistant could have explored other ways to engage with the user, such as offering resources, shared insights about lead generation strategies, or scheduling a follow-up when their business grows. So maybe inputting into the CRM to follow up 60 days later or something like that. Now, what's going to happen from here is we're going to input everything into Supabase, which I'm not going to cover in this video, but I will show you what we can get with something like this is our dashboard. So if we open up our dashboard, I'm going to log in really quick. So we have different users for different clients. So our clients have their own accounts, obviously, but let's log in and we're going to go to our own platform and we can see like recent transcripts. So like 6 days ago, we can see the call was not booked because the conversation was interrupted. We can go to contacts that we have created. We can see the contacts, we could see the different conversations and all that stuff. So let's open up like one of these right here. So this was a Instagram conversation. Someone said just booked a call through site, excited to chat and all that stuff. So every time a conversation is being held, it's going to be stored within this dashboard, which we're using Supabase as the backend for storage. So we can go to the past 30 days. We can go to all time. We can see the amount of messages sent, messages received, follow-up sent, phone calls received, phone calls going out, calls booked, and all that good stuff. So that's essentially what we're doing with Supabase right there. You guys don't really have to focus on that if you don't really want to store all of your transcripts and all of your messages. Well, that's just what we're doing here. So to break that down a little bit further, we have the booked consultation. So if they did answer the phone and they did book a call, we're just going to enter that into CRM or into Supabase, and then it's going to store within our platform that I was just showing off. Now, if they don't answer the call, then it's going to start following up with them. So we actually use Go High Level for this piece where it's just going to send automated messaging. So within here, we just say your job is to update this status and go high level to a no reply follow-up one. You must pass the email to the tool as well. So what's going to happen, we're going to give the email and the phone number, and it's just going to continuously following up with them. So that'll open up a workflow like this, where it's going to get our opportunities and then update the opportunities. So let me show you guys what we're working with within Go High Level. So if we go to automations, now within here, let's go to opportunities changed, and we have outbound call 1, no answer. So you can see it's not currently being published right now, but what's going to happen is from this workflow that I was just showing you, it's going to change the opportunity, and then that's going to get recognized within Go High Level. So pipeline status changed. We're going to send an email, then an SMS, and then a webhook to essentially another n8n workflow, which is going to call them a day later. So we'll say like, hey, I saw you filled out our form or something like that. Let's actually see what we say in the email. It says, hey, contact name, we saw you filled out our inquiry form and tried giving you a call, but we weren't able to get a hold of you. We would love to discuss further about your needs and how we can help you scale. What does your availability look like the next few days? So this is what we're saying within Go High Level. And then from there on, if they don't answer the second call, it's going to do something similar and then continuously sending them more follow-up messages. Now, if they do book a call, we'll just send them a confirmation text. This workflow right here, I'm not going to dive into that, but that's really what's going on within this workflow. So let's back up a little bit. Now you can see you can use on-form submissions. So like what I was showing you, what triggered our actual workflow. So let's actually refresh this. We can see if we fill this out, it's going to give us a call. So you can have it work like this, where, maybe you have Facebook ads and somebody fills out that ad, then it's going to perform what it just did for me and give them a call. Now we have this Google Sheets. So this Google Sheets is going to take the form of if you have an old list of leads and you want to call them. So uploading thousands of leads and then trying to just use AI to get them to book a call, qualify them, whatever you want to do. So what you would do here is we're just going to grab our Google Sheets, get the rows, hook up the document that we were using, and we just want to make sure that they weren't contacted. So that's where we use the column contacted and then make sure the value is no. Anything else, don't contact them. And that's where we're going to hook up to Vapi. So we hook up all this data. Now what we first have to do is make an API call to Vapi. So we're going to use an HTTP request. Again, if this is seemingly too complex, get this workflow, all the templates within my community. So within here, what we have is pretty simple. We have this endpoint of https api.vapi.ai/call. Within here, we're providing our API key, and then we're also providing a JSON, and that's really all that's going on. So let's open up our JSON. Now we're giving it an assistant ID. So feel free to copy exactly what I have here. You can go into Vapi's API documentation. So how you would actually get that, let's go to Vapi. I'll show you. Go to Vapi, let's search up documentation. Vapi API for developers. If we go to open the dashboard, I believe it would have been in the dashboard. Maybe not. We might have to go to settings or help. Here we go. Documentation. If we go to API reference, I would believe it would be. So you can see, you can get the endpoints through here. So just search up what you're actually looking for. So if we want to create a call, we're going to use this method right here. And then we can just copy all this stuff. So you could copy the curl and then paste it within your HTTP method. So just go to input curl, and you can throw it within there. But in any case, let's define it through here. So we're providing it with the full name, the email, the date, the phone number, the agent information, and also our phone number again. So it's saying like, here's the phone number you got to call. Here's the assistant that you want to connect to. So we already have this assistant built out. So we say, it's pretty much just the sales agent, but we're defining it a little bit different. So we're saying first define, hi, is this the first name? If it's yes, then proceed to introduction. We're saying something like, hi, this is Leo from Sales Done. I'm Nick's AI assistant and just saw you checking out our client acquisition system. So I wanted to reach out and see if you had any questions or were interested in possibly setting up a demo call. I'll scroll through this a little bit slowly. Feel free to pause it, copy what I have. But again, it's pretty similar to what I was just showing you guys in the other agents. So the sales agent, customer support agent. I'm trying to make this video a little bit quicker and give you guys the more important pieces that you need to get this going. So we have the tools set up. So once again, booking time, getting availability, same exact case as the sales agent, doing it the same way. But what we're doing is we're copying this assistant ID from here, and then we're going to our phone numbers and copying that ID from the top right. So grab that information and we're going to paste it within here. So paste the phone number ID down here and then the assistant ID up at the top. So this is going to actually trigger the call. So this node right here, if I were to press play, it's going to call me. This one right here, what we're saying within this is we're saying the exact same endpoint, but we're adding the ID of the call that we're getting from right here. So we just drag this and drop it within there. And that's going to grab the status of that call that's happening. So it's going to say, hey, this call isn't finished yet. And it's going to continuously wait and wait. So if you rewind the video back to the demo I was showing you, it was continuously running through this wait node and waiting for the call to finish. Now, once it's finished, it's going to just come down this route where we're going to grab the status and make sure that the call is actually ended, and then just input the details we're getting. So we're getting the call transcript. So you could see like, hey, is this Nick? Yeah, this is Leo from Sales Done. So exactly what was being said on the call. We're getting the reason why the call ended. We're grabbing the go high level contact ID and the transcript recording. So the go high level contact ID, we're just getting from this webhook from filling out this form right here, because this form was created through Go High Level. That's why. Let's go back, and that's where we're going to split up. So if some of the reasons why it ended, so let's say customer did not answer, unknown error, or silence timed out. If that's the case, then go up here. And that's where we're going to follow up with them, say like, hey, you didn't answer the phone, so here's our offer and all that stuff. If they did answer, it's going to go down this route where we have the sentiment analysis to just analyze the transcript and determine, what happened. Did they book a call? Did they not book a call? So that's where we're providing it with our response from the transcript, and it's going to analyze every word and the sentiment. So we analyze the actions needed, which is with this agent right here. So you're able to analyze the transcript and determine what actions to take. And that's where we're providing it with the different tools like uploading or updating the do not contact list and all that stuff. So there's going to be a lot of different actions that you might want to take for your own company. So if you want it to add a lead to the CRM and just make a note to contact them in 60 days, then so be it. For the feedback agent, we're just having it pretty much look at the transcript and say, what went wrong? Why did things go wrong? And how we can do better. We're breaking that up into reason the call was not booked and areas for improvement. And then we're adding everything into Supabase, and that's where we're providing row level security and everything. So that's a little bit more of a complex topic right there. But essentially what we're doing is we're uploading different workflows from different clients. Now within our platform, we only want each client to see only their pieces of information. So they can only see their workflows, their transcripts from their clients and their customers. And then we're just storing all this different stuff. So store the call transcript, the call reason and improvement, updating the stages and everything. And that's really everything that's going on within here. Again, if you would like the template for this, then check out my community. But it is a bit intricate, and it's probably going to take 3 hours for me to run through every single thing individually, but I really just wanted to break down the most important pieces and how you could be building this out for yourself and give you guys pretty much the roadmap to be doing this. But this is essentially the entire AI call center. So there's a lot more you can do, and there's a lot more that we actually offer, like deploying this on different channels, not just phone. So we deploy this on Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, SMS, and email as well, and of course website. So it's pretty much just what I was showing you, but also just being enrolled on all those different channels as well. Now, if you want to send a voicemail, that's where we could go within Vapi. I'll try to find it really quick. Voice configuration, it wouldn't be that. Let's scroll down a little bit. I'm gonna have to open up all of these to really find it. Voicemail detection, no, it would be perhaps messaging. Okay, so if you open up messaging, you can see here's the voicemail message. So you could say, please call back when you're available, or you could say something different. Like within here, I think we say, let's find out. No, we just say, please call back when you're available. But in the event that nobody answers the phone, you could say something like, hi, this is Tom from Sales Done. We tried to reach you to sell our services. Please call back at your earliest convenience. Something like that. I'm going to refresh this because I don't want it to save. But, that's essentially everything that's going on within the system. Again, if you're looking for help and getting a more hands-on approach to learning this and doing it yourself, then check out my paid community. Link is down below in the description for that. We'll help you get this going and deploying this for yourself, whether it's for your business or it's for implementing to, sell to other businesses. And if you are a business owner looking to have us implement solutions like this straight into your company, customizing everything, having it be completely done for you, all hands off, where you don't have to worry about anything at all, then check out the link down below. You'll go to our website where you can book a call with my team and I, and we'll deploy this within your company, completely customized. So that's going to be a perfect fit and include everything that you guys are going to need to really succeed. But with that being said, I really just wanted to provide this to you guys, give you a roadmap of this call center. But with that being said, I really thank you guys for watching this video. And of course, let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. If you guys like the structure of these longer videos where it's a little bit more raw and showing you guys just a tutorial from one point to another system, whatever it may be, let me know down below in the comments. Happy to continue posting stuff like this, or just let me know what type of content you guys would like to see. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.